Hey, friend, and welcome to the YouTube channel for the Renaissance English History Podcast. I am your host, Heather, and I have been podcasting on Tudor England since all the way back in 2009, 15 years of Tudor history podcasts. So today we are going to talk about an event that happened when Katherine of Aragon was in her weird period where Arthur had died. She was sort of betrothed to Henry, but it was like back and forth. And her sister, Juana of Castile, was shipwrecked in England. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the geopolitics of what it meant. There was a lot happening in this visit. There was a treaty that came out of it. It was pretty much a big deal. But before we get into it, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, why not go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can tutorify your YouTube algorithm. All right, let's get started. So it was January 1506, the tumultuous waves of the Atlantic. Under a storm-darkened sky, a fleet battles fiercely against the relentless tempest. Aboard one of these struggling ships is Juana of Castile and her husband, Philip the Handsome, Duke of Burgundy, and this, I don't know what that was, and the titular King of Castile. Their journey from Brussels to Spain has taken a perilous turn, thrusting them into an unexpected chapter that would reshape the course of European history. Juana is the daughter of the legendary monarchs Ferdinand and Isabella, so she was the sister of Katherine of Aragon. She's not just a queen, but she is a pivotal figure in a Europe rife with complex alliances and power struggles. Her marriage to Philip links two significant houses, Spain and Burgundy, at a time when dynastic ties are the currency of political powers. As their ships are battered westward by the unyielding storm, Juana and Philip's immediate concern is survival. Unbeknownst to them, this maritime misfortune is about to lead them to the shores of England, setting in motion events that will alter the geopolitical landscape of the continent. In January 1506, braving the winter seas, Juana and Philip departed Brussels with the intention of asserting Juana's claim to the Spanish throne. Their fleet, though robust, is no match for the ferocity of the storms that they encounter. The violent winds, the towering waves force the ships off course, driving them into the vast and treacherous Atlantic Ocean. After enduring the storm's wrath, the fleet is damaged and the crew is left exhausted. Recognizing the dire situation, Philip decides that pressing on to Spain is too risky. Instead, they seek the nearest safe harbor. The decision is made to head for Falmouth, a port on the southwestern coast of England. This choice is not without its risks. England is ruled right now by Henry VII, a monarch known for his shrewdness and his ambition. When they arrived in Falmouth, Juana and Philip are met with unexpected warmth. The Cornish people are famous for their hospitality, and they welcome weary travelers with open arms. They provide shelter, provisions, and a respite from the dangers of the sea. This gracious reception puts Philip at ease, easing concerns about their unplanned arrival on English soil. Understanding the importance of protocol and the potential political ramifications, Philip sends his secretary, Pedro de Ancamont, to inform Henry VII of their arrival. Far from being inconvenienced, Henry VII is delighted by this twist of fate. He sees an opportunity to strengthen his position in this web of European politics. These very important people show up on his shores. What shall I do? Without delay, he dispatches an escort of noblemen, led by the Earl of Arundel, to welcome the royal couple. Welcome them. Philip departs Falmouth ahead of Juana, traveling towards Windsor. Along the way, he is met by Henry, Prince of Wales, the future Henry VIII, accompanied by a retinue of 500 elegantly attired nobles and knights there to welcome them. This meeting is a grand affair conducted by torchlight, symbolizing both the literal and figurative illumination of new alliances. At Windsor Castle, Henry VII orchestrates an elaborate reception. The castle is adorned with the finest tapestry, cloth of gold. Every chamber is prepared to display the wealth and prestige of the English crown. When Henry and Philip meet, they exchange warm greetings, each recognizing the potential benefits of their newfound association. The presence of Prince Henry is significant. His engagement to Juana's sister, Katherine of Aragon, already links the English and Spanish thrones, and this encounter further entwines the dynastic ties. The ceremonial exchanges are rich with symbolism and etiquette, from the moment they dismount their horses to the intricate protocols observed within the castle's grand chamber. Every action is steeped in meaning. As Juana makes her way to Windsor by a slower route, the stage is set for a series of events that will leverage this accidental meeting into strategic advantage. Amidst the grandeur of Windsor Castle and the flurry of diplomatic courtesy, one figure stands out: Katherine of Aragon, Juana's younger sister. Already in England, Katherine had been living there since her marriage to Arthur, Prince of Wales, who had tragically passed away shortly after they were married. Now she's betrothed to Henry, Prince of Wales, future Henry VIII. Catherine's presence at court was more than familial comfort, it was a living link between the Spanish and English thrones. Catherine's reunion with Juana was a poignant moment, sisters brought together by fate in a foreign land. One of the most significant outcomes was the Treaty of Windsor, a series of agreements that included trade concessions and mutual defense pacts. Perhaps the most critical aspect was Philip's agreement to surrender Edmund de la Pole, Earl of Suffolk, the Yorkist claimant to the English throne who had sought refuge in Burgundy. The surrender of de la Pole was a masterstroke for Henry VII. It eliminated a potential threat to his reign, and it solidified his dynasty's hold on the throne. In return, Henry agreed to support Philip's claims and offered favorable trade terms. As the days turned into weeks, the royal visit was marked by lavish entertainments and cultural exchanges. Feasts were held in the halls adorned with tapestries of gold, showcasing the wealth and the sophistication of the backwater English court. There were dances, and English and Spanish nobles mingled, forging personal connections that would complement the political alliances. There was a memorable tennis match where Philip showcased his athletic prowess, much to the delight of the spectators. Lady Mary, who was Henry VII's younger daughter, enchanted the guests with her musical talents, playing the lute and the clavichord. One also might wonder what it was like for Katherine to spend time with her sister Juana during this time. Unfortunately, she wasn't actually really allowed to spend that much time at all with her sister during their unexpected stay. This was the period when Katherine was experiencing a very difficult time at the English court. Henry VII kept the sisters apart, not letting them have very much private time at all. He wanted to prevent any exchange of information that might disrupt his own negotiations with Philip. Catherine's seclusion served his interests, allowing him greater control over the diplomatic landscape and over Katherine herself, whose betrothal to his son Henry was still very much a delicate negotiation. Catherine's restricted contact with Juana highlighted her very vulnerable position. While her sister was received with pomp and ceremony, Katherine remained on the periphery, a pawn in this intricate game of diplomacy. The situation must have been very, very difficult, especially for Katherine. You can only imagine how heartbroken she must have been not being able to spend a lot of time with her sister. It also showed the very harsh realities faced by royal women in a patriarchal society where political considerations outweighed familial bonds. By April 1506, it was time for Juana and Philip to continue their journey to Spain. Their departure was met with fond farewells, optimistic anticipation of strengthened alliances. The immediate outcome of their unintended trip was a warmer relationship between England and Spain, setting the stage for future cooperation. Of course, once Henry would become king, he would marry Katherine right away. He would plan to invade France with Spain. They had a very close relationship, in part because of that shipwreck. Juana of Castile's legacy is often overshadowed by the events that followed in her life. She was eventually forced to retire to a nunnery. She had to give up her claim to the throne. Other people ruled in her name. It was actually really quite tragic. They called her Juana the Mad then, to say that she wasn't actually capable of ruling on her own. So it was actually quite tragic. But this moment highlights her role in a significant historical juncture. The shipwreck and the subsequent events show this web of diplomacy that she was part of, and she played a really active role in. So that is the story of when Juana and Philip were shipwrecked in England. I hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget, TutorCon is coming up very soon. You can join us streaming. The in-person tickets are sold out, but you can join us with the streaming ticket, englandcast.com/TutorCon online to learn all about that. Don't forget to drink your water, my friend. Don't forget to drink your water. And know that you are deeply loved, and I am so glad that I share the planet with you. I will be back again very soon with another event to talk about from Tudor England. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.